For more on the impact of these possible tariffs on foreign-made films, we're joined by Jan Schutte. He's a professor of directing at the Shanghai Theatre Academy, as well as a film director and producer. Jan, good to see you. Thanks for taking time to chat with us.
Hi, Sven.
Okay,
Nice one.
Trump wants a 100% tariff on foreign-made films, and he says Hollywood is suffering and wants to make Hollywood great again, in his words. But instantly, the U.S. film industry ripped this measure. What's your understanding on how this would theoretically work?
It's very vague text he posted on over the weekend. I think filmmaking is the most international business you can imagine. If you import a bottle of wine, you have a physical bottle. If you produce a movie, you have so many moving parts. And Hollywood is very, very good at distributing those parts to the best people in the world. So if you have one image, it might be partly shot in America, maybe in Santa Fe, not in LA, and then you add some clouds from a library in Hungary, and you add some CGI from Australia, and then you do the color grading in America again. So how are you going to tariff that? I don't understand, or I think nobody at the moment understands how this is going to work.
Yeah. Now, clearly, it's gotten more expensive to make films in Hollywood, in California. So many U.S. movies, as you're talking about, are shot either in full or in part overseas, or they use the sound studios in, say, London. Let's pick up on what you're talking about. How would this work? Do you think that filmmakers would just work within the U.S. borders?
I don't think this is very clear at the moment. And the only certainty we have at the moment is the uncertainty what's going to happen. And actually, first of all, the American film industry is world dominant. Their kind of revenue outside the American soil is $22.6 billion. They have a trade surplus of 15 point something dollars. Let's have a look at the German market. And the German market is around 70% dominated by American movies. It's just the cinema. If you talk about television, about streamers, it's even more. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that is really helpful to put these kind of tariffs, which are very unclear how they're going to work, on movie-making parts of movies which were shot in foreign countries.
Yeah, I think to a degree, some people are saying this is just a knee-jerk reaction. But one thing people are concerned about, if these possible tariffs could lead to retaliation from other countries against American films. Like, for example, China is already limiting the number of U.S. films that it imports.
The Chinese market has become very important for American studios, and you see that they have Chinese actors, Chinese faces, different content in many action movies, for example. I think that would hurt the American movie industry seriously if there is any retaliation. And it makes no real sense because, as I said, the American film industry is so strong internationally. It's a very international business.
Interesting. Jan, one gut punch, clearly, it appears that some 75% of the global products one can find on Netflix, are shot overseas by U.S. or international filmmakers. What about streaming services? Can Netflix take this kind of financial hit?
Netflix is a worldwide company, except for some countries. You have Netflix in South America, in Europe. You have local content, which is aimed on South American audience or a German audience, which clearly is some German product. But the main content is still American. And on top of it, I don't know if the shooting on location will be so important in the future. The post-production, pre-production, all this is a big part of any budget. And the shooting itself is not that expensive anymore.
Interesting. How do you think this would affect international co-productions? Because that has become so popular as well.
Movie business is, since its beginning in the 1910s, international and co-production heavy. I cannot even imagine how you want to, adjust and point these tariffs on co-productions. How is this going to work? I think nobody has an idea how these tariffs are going to be designed and attached to co-productions, where you have sometimes co-production of 3, 4, 5 countries.
Now, so would a forced shift back to domestic production really create more jobs in the U.S.? Because as you've been telling us, the U.S. really has, I wouldn't say a stranglehold, but clearly is the big player in filmmaking globally.
I mean, there are two things which we have to have a look at. Production in LA itself became very expensive. So studios already moved to Atlanta, Georgia, to Santa Fe, Albuquerque in New Mexico, to different areas in the US where work is apparently cheaper or easier. So that is one part. And then there are a lot of productions outside America. Of course, it would I don't know if it would bring back any jobs to America. I'm not so sure. That is, nobody knows about the future. That's very hard to say, and it's more improbable, actually.